Hello, you're here at Cisco Live San Diego 2019. Hi, I'm Nish Parker. I always love hearing from Liz Centoni and everything that we're doing in IoT. And just a couple of things that really stood out to me, one of them being how Cisco IT and operations within customers are starting to work much more closely together. And I love seeing that demo as well about intent-based networking and how we're taking that right to the edge. So here at Cisco Live, we have an IoT booth here in the world of solutions. There's so much to do here. Let's see, things like seeing it all in action with the city of New Orleans, through to new and existing solutions, new demos, displays, immersive experiences this week as well as some new switches, some new access points to discover as well. We've got 12 demos in the IoT booth, so definitely make sure you come and have a look. But why just hear it from me? Why don't we hear from Stephanie? So Stephanie, you're out in the World of Solutions IoT booth. What's going on over there?
I am. Thank you so much, Nish. I'm here with Patty Medberry. She is the Senior Manager of IoT Product Marketing, and we are in the IoT area of the WAS. And I heard there was a ton of new announcements from Cisco Live about IoT. Can you talk to us about that?
Oh yeah, we have a bunch of new products and new capabilities that are really transforming the IoT edge. So what we're doing is we're taking the power of the network and we're using it to unlock the data so that our customers can realize the business results that they need and want from their IoT deployments.
That's awesome. Let's talk details. What can you tell me about that?
Okay, well, there's really three main parts to the announcement. So the first is we have new products new networking products, we have a brand new Catalyst heavy-duty access point, as well as a brand new Catalyst heavy-duty switch. And what this is doing is it's enabling our customers to extend the intent-based networking that they have using DNA Center in their core campus and branch all the way out to the IoT edge. And as you can see, they don't look like your standard wireless access point and switch, although it is the same guts that you guys have in your core network. But we've packaged it differently, meeting certain specifications so it can be deployed in extreme places with dust, moisture, and even hazardous environments. So we're super, super excited about this, that our customers can actually have that intent-based networking all the way from their core all the way to the IoT edge. The second thing in the announcement is around our ecosystem partnership. So we are continuing to leverage DevNet and the new capabilities there. We announced a partnership with Emerson. So this is also enabling us to drive that intent-based networking to new places through our partnerships. And then the third part of the announcement is around our Cisco validated designs. So how we look at this is the products are super important, but we also need to make sure that our customers have the right tools and resources to have a successful IoT deployment. And that's what a Cisco validated design does. It is a blueprint, a recipe that tells you how to deploy for that use case. So it's tested at scale. We've done all that for you. We'll give you configs, we'll give you security best practices, everything you need to make that deployment a success. So in this case, with the CVDs, we have new use cases. So we have tons already, we're just adding on to it. So if you are a customer that has a connected community, a smart city or roadway, we have that now for you. Or, all our enterprise customers have some place they need to connect. So whether it is a parking lot, a warehouse distribution center, the extended enterprise will give them the recipe or the blueprint to do that very, very easily. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
That's awesome. It sounds like enterprises clearly can benefit a lot from these.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little more about why customers should care about these awesome new products?
I think to understand why they care, I'll talk a little bit more about the problem. What we're seeing is that our customers have these pilots or proof of concepts, but they're having trouble getting them to full-scale production. And when you think about IoT, it's very complex. People aren't deploying these every single day. The scale, when you're going from just a few connections to thousands and in some cases millions, very hard to do. And you've got to not only scale it, secure it. And that's where these solutions come in. So what we're doing is we are enabling that intent-based networking, that world-class enterprise networking that's in the campus and branch, all the way out to the IoT edge. So you can use the same security policies, same security models, security policies, end to end. It's an automated way to get the scale and to have the success you need. And then when you think about the Cisco validated designs and those tools that make it a lot easier to deploy and manage over the lifetime, this is where we can really help our customers get those business benefits.
So Patty, there are a lot of people here in the IoT area of the WAS. How can attendees learn more about these products? How can people at home learn more about these products?
Okay, well, if you're here, you have to come to our booth. But if you're not, go to cisco.com/go/IoT. And then there you can learn all about what's new and the solutions in general beyond what we've actually deployed today. So,
guys, go check it out here and online. Nish, I'm throwing it back to you in studio.
Thank you, Stephanie. So I'm really excited because we're going to bring all of that into action, and I'm joined here by Rod. Hi, Rod. How are you?
Great.
So Rod, you're from one of our customers, JE Dunn. Just want to make sure I get this right. So you're a leading provider of construction management services, design and build services, and integrated project delivery. And I understand that you've been deploying some of our IoT solutions.
Yeah.
So maybe could you start with, what do JE Dunn do?
So J. Dunn is a commercial general building contractor, headquartered in Kansas City, and about 3,500 employees, offices across 21 cities, and we'll do just under $4 billion in revenue. And our focus is vertical building construction. So we don't do infrastructure work, but primarily hospitals, data centers, office buildings, all things commercial buildings.
Got it. And what would you say are some of the business problems that you've been trying to solve? Just in general, I guess, but specifically with IoT technology.
Yeah, we're always looking to increase the productivity and the efficiency of our buildings and to create value for our clients. So creating value oftentimes leads to new revenue streams. So things like worker health and safety is important for us. Driving productivity on the job site is important for us, but also learning from the buildings that we build, and that's where IoT really comes in, is the ability to capture that data, to leverage that data, analyze it, and ultimately improve what we do the next go around.
So what would you say are some of the most kind of exciting projects that you've been working on, and how has really IoT played a role in those?
Yeah, so we hear a lot today about smart cities, but you don't hear a lot about smart buildings, and what is a smart building really? So one of the things that we focused on is taking and leveraging Cisco Kinetics along with IoT gateways and being able to take disparate building system from the building power management systems to Wi-Fi systems, to you name it. There's all kinds of systems in a building, largely that are really not connected. And so we've been able to aggregate those through Cisco Kinetic, bring those together on a single pane of glass, and then be able to capture and leverage that data, ultimately with our end game really being twofold. As one, like I talked about, to be able to analyze and learn how we improve what we do, but then also allowing building operations to become more efficient as well. There's a tremendous amount of opportunity in terms of economizing and driving efficiencies in how buildings operate. So we really see both value for the customer, but also value for us in our industry as well.
And what would you say are some of the key takeaways from this project? What did you learn along the way? Did it come with any challenges? But for people that don't know this industry very well, what are some of the kind of basic things that you take for granted?
The big challenges immediately are the fact that a number of the vendors of these different systems, just getting those protocols to talk. That's where Cisco Kinetic was so important for us to be able to bring those together. And also it's what to measure, and ultimately what are we analyzing, and what value is that? We can collect a lot of meaningless data, but it's really getting to the things that drive operational improvements in our buildings that feed the next generation of design and allow us to be smarter is really the kind of the end game right now. That's what our pilot is working to tell us.
And final question is, what business outcomes would you say you've seen from working with Cisco? So what's it been like day to day, and what's been the end game?
Day to day, honestly, just the safety and security of our networks is a huge importance for us. Especially the buildings that we build, the types of buildings, a lot of those are sensitive as well, and so that really is the today world, right? And that's where we leverage Cisco technology all the time. I think the end game is that how do we connect buildings to smart city infrastructure and enable a different user experience? Yeah. And that's really the end game, beyond just the work that we do as designers and builders, but ultimately how do users interact with the buildings in a different way?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing those insights with us. We're now going to go back to Steve. Steve, you're out in the world of solutions. What have you got for us?
I am, Nish. Okay, and we're in one of the coolest areas with one of the coolest people. So this is Richard Mullen. If you haven't met Richard Mullen yet, first of all, have you been living in a cave? And second of all, Richard is always, we call him our sort of engineering technical lead for IoT.
I like the title. That's really good.
It's not the right title, though, because he's sort of the everyman. He's the guru when it comes to IoT and so many of these great new capabilities. As we were doing setup yesterday, I walked past, you grabbed me, and you said, let me show you what's going on. Talk us through the rig that's behind us. It's one of my favorite things on the show floor. It's so cool.
And if anybody was with us on the earlier segment with Patty, before we went to the break, Patty was talking a lot about kind of our themes around making things simple, about being able to extend things out into the edge. Well, what we've got is a great example of how we're converging technology, Cisco technology at the edge. So part of our IoT portfolio, some of that Patty talked about, but here in a real life use case that we're using with a customer, Wanco, that makes these trailers that you would see driving down the highway. You know, you've seen the I need to move over to the side and change lanes. That's what we're doing here, but on just a huge scale. So shall we go take a look?
Let's go and take a look. So first of all, I can tell right off the bat that we're already capturing the actual speed that people are walking by here, right?
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to be looking at LiDAR. So we are lasering the folks here with our moon laser all the way down the hall, and then we're looking at their average speed. Okay. And then we'll be doing that with just cars and things like that, just coming right down the piece. But there's a question of like, hey, how does that element connecting, and how does this node play in a real life scenario in Colorado, for example, if you've got an avalanche issue on I-870, for example, where I've got kind of a major issue. So what happens is they take this trailer out, so the Department of Transportation will roll this out, put this in location, and they can typically get a Wi-Fi signal off of the trailer. So let's go take a look at like what that's enabled.
Sounds good. So this, for example, is if we couldn't throw Wi-Fi all the way to the area, this can bring the Wi-Fi into the moment. Okay, great.
Right, so as you can see here, what we've got is we've got a gateway, right? So that's how we're connecting back with a connectivity element. We've got our switching that's converging all of the systems on top of this trailer. So think about it, if this was 7 different systems, all 7 different operators, very, very difficult to operate. We consolidate that, and then we use a compute module over there that's running applications. Okay. What those 3 things allow you to do is now you have a fully self-contained unit. So when you look up, you have
the 3 radios up here. Okay.
So we're just going to go from the bottom to the top of the first one's talking to cars, that's DSRC. Second one is Wi-Fi, so now I'm talking to all of my people that are out there working in this particular environment. And 3 is LoRaWAN, so low power connectivity, low bandwidth connectivity to other assets that could be in the area. So cool. So now what we can do is this can communicate with a command center. It can communicate with vehicles, so you think about truck traffic coming down the highway, coming down I-70 in icy conditions. We've got the road closed, you have a load on there, we need you to slow down. We can immediately talk into the rig of the vehicle.
You're going to be able to throw this into the radio, into the heads-up display, wherever it needs to be.
Into the phone that they have, that they're using so you can get that notification. We have our Wi-Fi coverage, so we can also alert the crew that we've got an incident coming down, and we have speeders, coming this way, and then communicating with up to 1,000 other trailers in the neighborhood. Because think about if you're in Colorado and this is up high, you don't have any LTE.
You got 70, you're rolling all the way along.
But I just need to know that you're out there. So LoRaWAN can do that, where you might not have that capability with the Wi-Fi coverage. Again, solar panels up on the top.
And you've got camera up there too, right? Let's come on back here. Maybe we can get a little wide shot all the way back up top. Come on in here. We'll give it a nice background. Oh, here we go.
Right. And so then we just use the logic of all this data coming in on all these different sensors, both on the unit as well as other things communicating with it, and that's changing what we're signing, what we're alerting with our crews, what we're alerting with oncoming traffic, what we're talking with other sensors that are in the neighborhood. So that's what we're able to do.
Incredibly cool. All right, so what I want to do now is take everything that we're looking at here, which, like I said, this is one of my favorite stories on the show floor, because what we heard even in the keynote this morning when we talked about what we're doing to rethink the technology that we've been using in the past, but more importantly, binding it together within the network capability. Right. How does this work on the partnership side? So how does Cisco work together with the partners to create a piece like we're seeing here?
Right. So the partners coming to us we have different types of systems. Like, for example, we looked inside the box. You could see we had like 6 or 7 different types of systems. Same thing with a smaller, you can't quite see it now, but the lowest radio, that's a partner-enabled radio. The partner's saying, hey, I want to be able to sell in a solution here, but I cannot do the connectivity element and connect all of these systems. That's what's the role that Cisco plays. We can also take their application and run compute of that application right at the edge. So they don't necessarily need to go all the way back to a data center. They don't need to go back to a command center in order to just run the logic that you need to run the unit. So the partner's looking for us of, hey, if I can come in with a bundled solution set that Cisco's kind of bringing me into that play, into that solution mix, with the application layer, with the security layered in on top, that's kind of the bundled piece that the partner's looking for from Cisco, and that's what the customer wants. The customer wants to come in here and say, hey, great, you've already engineered this together for me, how do I roll that out?
Deliver that in the package, ready to go. Talk to me about the local municipality play, right? So everywhere you're going to go, there are going to be the different local laws, whether they're city laws or state laws or regional laws. How do we play into that?
Right, so you've got, it's kind of two different problems that you're talking about, kind of a tension in that argument that you just put together. You've got different elements inside the municipality that all have their own buying centers, they all have their own network operation piece with transportation, with roadways, right? You think about the municipality and how many different units that they have. Getting those things, getting those areas to talk to one another, that's again where Cisco comes into play. We are building an extensible network because we're typically already in the network cabinet. IT administrators that are listening to us right now, that if you're in SLED type of opportunities, so municipal opportunities, it's typically Cisco in the network closet. How can we then take the needs of those different groups, the transportation authority, the troopers, the folks that are running the mass transportation? What we want is to link those together because those are an interrelated experience of data that's flowing. Cisco can connect that and then we can put kind of compute into different areas and then push forward the experience for the customer. So it's that converged thinking of services, of differentiated services for my community that we can bring together. That's what we are doing in the IoT space across all of this.
And that is what connects so deeply to everything that Chuck was talking about right out of the gate this morning. What do we do with the network? We have this existent, powerful network. How do we bring on board these new capabilities? But it's not just introducing them. How do we connect them through so that we get that through line? This is such a great physical representation of that through line.
Yeah, full tip of the spear right here, full going all the way back to who we have on the roadway and then back to our command center, back into the transportation knock. Because think I'm working with a huge highway system that the municipality or the state government in that case has to basically manage. How do we flow all of that data in so they have a much more seamless, autonomous type of experience for the driver for the, on the road?
It's just such a cool story. All right, so here's what I'm going to do before I toss it back up.
We're easy to find.
We're super easy to find. It's right in the doors here in Hall D. Recognize this jacket, recognize this man, because as you're walking around here at the show, when you want to know the IoT story and you want to get it with enthusiasm and with passion and deep dive detail, Richard Mullen is your man.
And our team here too. I mean, any of our professionals here are just ready to help out.
Look around, find the blue shirts. We make it easy. My friend, always a pleasure. Looking forward to it. Thank you guys. Nish, back up to you in Studio B.
Thank you, Steve. So on June the 6th, Cisco announced its intent to acquire a new company. And I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly because it's a French one, so it's Sentryo. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. So I'm joined by three guests. I'm joined by Samuel, Thierry, and Laurent from Sentryo. They are part of an IoT cybersecurity company based in Lyon, France, and it's all about providing asset visibility and security at a very high level. But I'd love to hear more about the company. So maybe if we start with you.
Yeah, so I'm Samuel Pasquier from Cisco, and I lead the product management team at Cisco in charge of Cisco industrial networking. And what we do at Cisco is we have been investing on industrial network, and we have a pretty big portfolio of security product and networking product to connect different industrial assets or extend the campus network all the way to the IoT edge. And what we've been doing is really focus on providing this connectivity to our customer and this functionality to our customer. We realize that as we have security capability enforcement, we need visibility. And that's why we've made the news on Thursday.
Fantastic. And maybe some introductions from the two of you as well.
Yes, I'm Laurent Hausermann. I'm the co-founder and the Chief Operating Officer of Sentryo.
And I am Thierry Rouquet. I am the Sentryo President.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining me. So could you tell us a little bit more about Sentryo's offering? Like, what is it that you're offering and bringing to Cisco?
So what Sentryo do is that we are helping industrial corporation to maintain continuity, resilience, and safety of their industrial operation by maintaining integrity of their control system and protecting them against cyber risk. So basically what we do is three things. First, we provide visibility on all devices on the network and identified vulnerability. Two, we provide integrity by tracking all significant events on the network. And third, cybersecurity by detecting anomaly. The one thing which is important about us is that the product has been designed to be used by control engineers, by OT engineers, because in that world, only people who know the process can take relevant decisions.
Got it. And is this the first time that you've been working with Cisco, or you've got a history with working with Cisco?
No, we have a long history with Cisco because our platform has been designed to rely on edge architectures. And we have worked with Cisco since 18 months in embedding our, what we call the sensor, the part which collects the information within a Cisco IOX architecture.
So that's how it fits into the kind of wider security and our wider portfolio, really, everything we're doing with networking as well.
That's right.
So what would you say makes Sentryo and Cisco stronger and better together?
Yes, Sentryo has developed this edge computing architecture, and that's something our customer really like because it removes the pain to deploy the solution. And embedding into Cisco IOX platform, running at the edge of the network, remove any additional cost or additional resources to deploy that visibility. And that's something very, very important to provide it.
So we're here at Cisco Live, San Diego 2019. What are you guys doing here?
Well, we are here because the platform we have developed, as Thierry said, provides a lot of visibility over the assets. Automatic asset inventory, for example, is something key. It could be something people don't know, but many automation-based companies, like in manufacturing or in power grids, don't know half of their assets. 50% of the assets are unknown or unmanaged. And so we provide visibility over these. We also give people operationally insight. So for example, is anyone trying to stop the controller? Is anyone trying to update its firmware? That's something people want to know, and there is too much ways to hack the system and provide kind of cyber attack to these devices that we need to give them that kind of monitoring in great detail over their control system network.
So, and maybe I would say, for us, Cisco, like I mentioned, we are really into industrial network. We are providing the connectivity, and for us, it's really how to be able to provide the visibility to our network, to the network, to our customer, so our customer can put the enforcement, can put the security, can do the end-to-end segmentation. This morning, we heard about David Geckler talking about the segmentation end-to-end and showing his example. And we do have all the network capability and security functionality to be able to do that, but you cannot segment what you don't know. So it's very important for Cisco and for our customer to deliver this visibility so they can see what's going on. The OT team can see what's happening on the network, so after you can implement the right security policy. And that's why we announced the intent to acquire the company Sentryo.
Got it, and I'm hearing visibility as a really key theme that's coming out in this conversation. What other challenges do you think Sentryo technology will help customers to solve?
Well, cybersecurity is another one. In this world, when you have got a certain level of visibility, then you want to be able to detect anomalies. And we have designed a system which uses a behavioral model and artificial intelligence in order to detect what is abnormal and what is not abnormal. And that's the step just after visibility.
And these anomalies, you have to present them in a way that OT user can understand. And the IT department, the security leaders, could collaborate with these OT user, people in the field, in the factories, at the shop floor, and they would understand better what kind of anomalies is legitimate and maybe is a maintenance operation running, or what kind of anomalies is something strange and need to be investigated because it could be a cyber attack.
So we have quite a few people watching us on the online stream right now. So if someone's really interested in learning more about Sentryo, how can they find out more? What should be the call to action that you have?
Well, we have a well-done website. and they are also welcome in Lyon, France. This is where the headquarters is.
And right now, from a Cisco standpoint, we are announced the intent to acquire Sentryo. And in the next few months, once the deal closes, we'll be more than happy to engage a little bit more and talk about our future.
Great, thank you. So, like I said, here at Cisco Live, is this your first Cisco Live? All
Yes,
of you?
first time.
And what's your experience been like?
Well, it's huge. I mean, we are a small company, 50 people, and it's huge. We are trying to find out how big it is, and that's a great opportunity for us to meet our next Cisco colleague.
Absolutely. So is it 50 people all based in France, in
Yes,
Lyon?
mostly in France.
Got it. Great. And how do you feel about expanding out into the more global landscape?
Well, Cisco is an extraordinary partner to do that.
Great.
Yes.
And what's your experience been like at Cisco Live so far?
The experience is great. I mean, we see the project of joining Cisco as really the continuity of our entrepreneurial journey. I mean, we launched the company 5 years ago. We wanted to scale across all industrial devices and all kind of system. And for that, you have to have the scalability resources of a large company and operate at an international scale. And that's crazy what we can find here at Cisco Live and the resource we will have through Cisco. Yeah,
Great, thank you. And Samuel, obviously, you're from Cisco. Is this your first Cisco Live, and what's your experience
That's not my first
been?
Cisco Live. I'd be lying if I was saying that. But I have to say it's very interesting for us. We have been in this IoT world for quite some time, and industrial network. We have been investing heavily, and that's another example of our level of investment and commitment to the industrial world. Listen, it's just the beginning. David mentioned it this morning in the keynote. You have tons of assets that needs to be connected on the industrial side and extending the campus network. That's why Cisco is committed to that space. That's why we're investing, and that's why we want to bring the security and capabilities to our customer because they need it.
Great, thanks so much. We're now going to go to the collaboration showcase, so let's listen to that.